Good morning everybody. Thanks for joining me. I've decided to come along the coast a little bit this morning and I'm at Paignton. I've just been to the pier to take some long exposure shots of the pier while it was still quite dark, so that I didn't have to use a filter. But I'm just off to the harbour now. There's a cardinal beacon that I've taken a photograph of before that I'd like to do, and maybe some of the wildlife. Anyway, I'll talk some more when I get there. So this is my favourite from the images I took. Before I came, I had this image in my head of the pier floating across the water, almost hanging in the sky. So I knew I wanted to get or eliminate all the detail from the water and the sky. So it was still quite dark, so I was able to get away with a 30-second exposure without any filters. As you can see, there's a little bit of detail still in the sky. And I wanted to keep that very delicate looking structure of the legs and the struts underneath the pier, which I think I've done. And I was thinking of making it into a black and white, but I think the little bit of colour in the yellows and the reds just adds to the pier, makes it look a little bit more delicate. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with this image. Hope you enjoy it. Out of my comfort zone this morning. Lots of people around, really difficult to talk to camera without feeling embarrassed, but I'll do my best. It was nice to come down to the pier. Lots of photographers down here. Met up with a guy called Paul. Hi Paul, who follows my channel. Thanks very much. Just going to take a walk around the seawall over there. I can get a shot of the cardinal beacon, so I'll go there first and then I'll see what else I can find. I'm just looking out over the seawall at this cardinal marker, and I've got the camera set up, not using a tripod. Let me show you what I'm doing. So that's the shot I'm trying to get. Looks a bit dark in the back of camera, but let me show you one of the shots I've already taken. There you go. Not very straight, but I am using the seawall as a tripod. As solid as you can get. So the setup is a 10-stop ND filter, which is giving me 30 seconds of exposure. The aperture is as wide open as I can get, which is f6.3, which is fine for this subject. ISO 100. Well, while I'm waiting for this shot to be taken, might as well tell you a bit about the harbour. A little while since I've been down here. Some nice new businesses down here. If you like seafood, there's the Crab and Hammer, and there's some cafes and a pub called the Harbour Lights. Nice place to come in the evening. It's got a nice buzz, nice feel about it. So if you're in the area, come down and have a good look around. Spend some money. Really happy with this shot. Pretty much what I was trying to achieve. So as you saw, I had the camera on the seawall and I was zoomed in at 190mm and just using my lens cap under the front of the lens to get the composition right. 30-second exposure, but as the day was brightening up I had to use a 10-stop filter. But the effect of the 30 seconds is, as you can see, the water's lovely and smooth, very little detail in the sky, and the structure's pin sharp. If I was criticising it, I could have moved slightly to the right a little. If you look right in the middle, you can see I haven't quite got the structure lined up, but if I hadn't told you, I'm sure you wouldn't have noticed. So with this next one, I'm just zoomed in a little closer at 250mm. This has taken the aperture up a bit to 6.3, still at 30 seconds with a 10-stop filter on. And this time in post-processing I've increased the blacks a little bit, and as you can see from the middle of the structure I left the yellows there. In fact, I've actually saturated them just a little bit more. With this one I really like the lines going across the sea, just adds to the image a little. As I'm using a couple of filters this morning, I thought I'd just do a little bit about the gear I've got. Don't often do that. I only have 3 filters. They're all round screw-on filters from K&F Concept. And start with the first one, which is just a polarizer. I think everybody should have a polarizing filter in their arsenal, just to take reflections out of water. They're great in woodland. You've just had a shower in the woodland and you want to reduce the reflections coming off them and make the colours pop. Always good to have. Not an expensive filter, this one from K&F, but I've found the quality to be good enough, certainly for the things that I do. Next one is a good old 10-stop. So there we go, a 10-stop ND filter, just like a pair of sunglasses for your camera. Allows you to increase the shutter speed, as I have done this morning, to these 30-second shots. Not always necessary, but again, good filter to have. And then lastly, this is a combination filter, again from K&F. So this is a combination of a variable ND filter. So the ND filter you can change using this lever here, and I think this is just a 3-stop, as you can see. And then also by twisting it, it gives you a polarizer as well. Very useful filter. I used this on the pier this morning as the light was starting to increase and I didn't need the 10-stop. Also, when I'm filming using this camera, if I'm filming in bright conditions and I want to control the shutter speed to the 50th of a second that I need, then this is great just to take the edge off that exposure. Okay, let's get on with some more photography. Well, just a short video this week. Actually found it very difficult filming with so many people around, so I've concentrated on the photographs. Hopefully you like them. Just came round to this side of the harbour so that I could take a shot of the Crab and Hammer behind me with the boats in front. I knew I wanted to get a shot of the restaurant with the boats in front, but I was lucky enough to find this crab boat with one of their inkwell pots on the bow, which I could line up in front of the restaurant. It was a pretty dull morning, so that wasn't helping the colours much. I've done a bit of post-processing by increasing the blues a little, but the blues, the reds and a little splash of yellow on the right work nicely together, and it's a nice composition. So working on that composition a little bit more, I've zoomed in slightly to 97mm, which has put the crab boat a little bit more in frame, brought the restaurant a little bit closer, and I've made it into a black and white. The conditions sort of suited this black and white better, and then in post-processing I've put quite a heavy vignette on this to concentrate the eye into the centre of the photo, and I've lightened up the reds and yellows, which has made the blues darker, made a more contrasty shot. And that's it. really like this one. I'm going to call it a day, and see you all again next week. If you enjoyed the video, give me a like and subscribe to the channel. Bye for now. Cheerio. Well, before you all sign off, I just wanted to show you one more image. I'd actually included this earlier on in the video during editing, and then when watching it through I thought, well, actually it's a bit boring. The image isn't that good, so I decided to cut it completely. And then second thoughts, I thought, okay, let's put it at the end and ask the audience. So what do you think? Watch this through and let me know what you think and give me some comments. So this image was taken as I was walking along the seafront towards the harbour. There are these steel structures that are used to have kiosks on top of in the summertime. And what attracted to me obviously was the leading lines of these steel beams and the fact that the waves were occasionally coming up and swirling around the base of the structure. So I've tried to get the shutter speed correct to show some detail as the waves are going back out. This was at 1.6 of a second. I could have gone faster so there was a bit more detail, but I chose this shot just because of the composition. I think this is the best out of the 3 or 4 I took. I like where the edge of the waves are sort of only about a third of the way up the shot. Even the little indentation down in the bottom left is just in the right shot, and the 2 stones on the right. And then in post-processing I've made it into a black and white, and I've actually darkened the reds and yellows to give a bit more contrast, and also I've increased the blacks and the mid-tones to make them darker. And again, there was no filter on this.